Hey everybody, I'm supposed to be here. I hope you can see me. Somebody say something in the chat and let me know what's going on. Can you see me over there?
Getting there.
Okay.
It's live.
All right. As soon as I start seeing somebody in here, I'll start talking.
You can see me coming right now for watching me.
I'm trying to give it a little time. Right now it doesn't seem like DM Patriots videos only. Okay, close.
Hello, world.
Am I there?
Yeah, you're there.
Can anybody hear me?
You are there, brother.
You sure?
Hi, Bobby. Yeah, they're texting you out.
Okay, I can't see my text for some reason. For some reason I'm stuck. I can see me. Oh, I see it way down there, but it's so tiny I can't read it. So you're gonna have to help me figure out how to do that. Spirit Talker. I can see it. So hello everybody. How you doing? I can't see what you're writing because something went wrong with the live stream. It's on there, but it's so tiny that I can't read it. So Spirit Talker is going to feed me information and let me know who's here as we go. But today I want to thank my subs. They're the best people in the world, I tell y'all. I've done really well the last couple of weeks, and I'm really grateful. But there's a special person I have to give a shout out to. Every month, without fail, this man sends me a very generous and kind donation, and his name is K. Earl Long. He chooses to send it to me through the mail, but people, I want you to know he is a good man, so if you see him, make him a friend. And there's a lady, and her website is Debbie C, the letter C. She's got a great grow channel. She's got a lot of good content. Give her a check and check her out. My PayPal information is in the link below if you'd like to contribute to this channel. If not, just keep watching, leave a comment, hit the like button, and subscribe. I can ask no more from a viewer or a subscriber than to do that. I want to talk tonight just a little bit on the abortion issue. Normally I'm all about abortion, but tonight I'm just going to touch on a really short little deal, and then I want to get into some of this stuff that's going on between the Democrats, because there seems to be a chasm opening between a lot of these Democrats, and I want to talk about that. But let me get through this first. Another Democrat federal judge, Michael Barnett, he blocked an Ohio law banning abortions after a fetal heartbeat could be detected. This allowed abortion clinics to provide the abortion procedure. Barrett said that Planned Parenthood and abortion clinics represented by the ACLU, the American Civil Liberties Union, they sued to stop the heartbeat law, and they are certain to succeed on the merits of their claim that their law is unconstitutional on its face. The court upheld the law, and then they denied it. Women in Ohio have a constitutional right to make this deeply personal decision about their own bodies without any interference from the state. You see where they're going, people? It's all about these women having a choice to murder their children. Ohio is among a dozen states that have similar legislation this year, and we're talking about the heartbeat bill. We're talking about no abortion after a heartbeat is detected, usually around 6 weeks. And granted, there's a lot of women at 6 weeks don't even know they're pregnant. But that's not my problem. That's not your problem. That's their problem. We can only put these laws into effect and try to see that they're carried out. Opponents of abortion have pursued a national anti-abortion strategy to overturn Roe v. Wade. The Ohio Right to Life called the judge's decision disappointing, to say the least. He gave them what they wanted, but it's still disappointing. But you know, Georgia, I'm very grateful to live in the great state of Georgia. In a minute, I'll tell you why. The Georgia Right to Life is an anti-abortion political group, and they say that the Georgia heartbeat bill doesn't go far enough, and accuse several Republican lawmakers of violating an agreement to earn their support. So they're making deals behind the scenes. The Democrats are, and the Republicans too. They're making deals behind the scenes. Who's going to vote for this? Who's not going to vote for that? But the Georgia Right to Life wants all abortions banned, no matter if it's determined to the health of the woman or because of rape or incest. People, I've told you before, I'm going to withhold my decision on the health of the woman or rape or incest. I just can't bring myself to go to that level. I am definitely anti-abortion no matter what, but sometimes you have to meet people in the middle of the road to get things done. So I'm going to keep my opinion on the life of the mother, rape or incest, to myself. But just know that I am pro-life no matter what. You know, many pro-life activists support the concept of personhood, and that's what we should do. The concept of personhood is giving that preborn infant in the womb identity. That's the whole idea of us giving support for this kind of law. It grants life to a fetus in the womb. We can't have politics as usual and deny human life. Politics as usual gets us nowhere. We need to remember that we're dealing with a human life in the womb, and they deserve dignity and respect. But you know, every Georgia legislature who voted for the heartbeat bill is a pro-life hero. I don't care what you can call them, they're a hero. And Governor Brian Kemp, I praise this man to the high hills. He's a champion for life. He is totally pro-life. And I'm grateful and I'm thankful for their courage to stand, and I will unapologetically support them, and I have their backs in 2020. I wish I could see the live chat, I really do, but I can't see it, people, so I just got to keep talking. You know, I saw a Nike commercial the other day with their new Betsy Ross shoe design. And you know, the really crazy stuff is the 2020 candidates jumped on a bandwagon, and they couldn't wait to fuel a controversy that was started by Colin Kaepernick, the disgraced and defamed NFL football player. Why Nike gives him the time of day, I really don't know. But every time he opens his mouth, they seem to jump through hoops. So Colin Kaepernick, I guess, is running Nike right now. But I want to tell you, there's a candidate for the presidency by the name of Julian Castro. He was glad to see the painful symbol of the Confederate flag pulled from the shelves of the stores. Well, people, sit down for a minute because I got something to tell you. First of all, the Betsy Ross flag was not a Confederate flag. The Betsy Ross flag was commissioned, I believe, by George Washington, and it represented the 13 colonies. The white on the stripes stood for purity. The red stood for blood that was shed in the Revolutionary War. People, that is no more a Confederate flag than this is a thumbs down. Okay? Why they're jumping on the bandwagon calling this Betsy Ross flag, who was decades and decades before the war between the states, who they like to call the Civil War. So how can this be a Confederate flag if Betsy Ross sewed that thing decades before? They're full of crap. They don't know what they're talking about. They have their history all turned upside down. And that's what they're doing in our schools. They're upside down with history. They're upside down with everything else that's good in this country. We have a history in this country, and the history of this country is something to be proud of if you're a God-loving American patriot. People, we can't stand to hear these idiots like Castro. They don't even know what they're talking about. And you know, the MSN, the mainstream media, compares the Betsy Ross flag to the German swastika. Can you believe that? The German swastika. Seeing the Betsy Ross flag is very painful and should not even be flown or displayed anywhere in America. People, they have no idea where this flag came from, who commissioned it, and what it stood for. Anything that is not, I guess, a flag with 50 stars and 13 stripes is an American flag. But I'm going to tell you, people, the Betsy Ross flag was an American flag at that time. And if you want to be technical about it, I'll tell you right now, the South Carolina flag is yellow. It has a tree in the center with a crescent moon on the side. The flag is yellow. But on the very first day of the Civil War, when the North fired on the South at Fort Sumter, South Carolina, a red and white South Carolina flag was flying over that fort. So if you want to call a flag Confederate flag other than the stars and bars, it's going to be the red and white South Carolina flag that was fired on by the North at Fort Sumter, South Carolina, the first shot fired in the war between the states. So let's get your information correct before you start throwing stuff out there about flags, Castro, and Colin Kaepernick. What have we become when we let idiots like this Castro and Kaepernick dictate to us what we can see and believe? People, it's more of the demon rat plan to destroy America. And that's all there is to it. And then Beto O'Rourke had to jump in. And you know, he said the Betsy Ross flag is a symbol of white nationalist groups spreading hate in America. He says it's important to know the impression this symbol will have on many Americans. People, I'm going to tell you right now, that Betsy Ross flag has absolutely no impression on 90% of this country, because 90% of this country don't even know what that flag is. That's why they're calling it a Confederate flag when it was decades before the Confederacy that this flag was sewn. And people, I can't help it. I get on this bandwagon. I can't stand it when the demon rats try to destroy something good in America. We deserve to have a history. History B will tell you there is a history that is not being taught in our schools. People, I'm not here as a history teacher, but sometimes my research leads me there, and I feel compelled to share it with you. But you know, on the other hand, the Republicans have a totally opposite reaction to this whole thing. Texas Senator Ted Cruz. I like Ted Cruz. He's a good man. He pushed for a Nike boycott over this Colin Kaepernick deal. Of course, I don't know how many people boycotted, probably not many. But then, I have to do this because of my dear friend, Dangerous Freedom. I got to tell you, brother, I got this for you. When I wrote this down, I said, I got to mention your name before I do this because you live in Arizona. And I got to tell you, you got a good governor out there, brother. I enjoyed our talk today, by the way. The Arizona governor, Doug Ducey, he announced that the state is withdrawing its planned incentive for a Nike to build a plant in Arizona. So thank you, Governor Ducey, showing that you got a pair and letting Nike know that you're not going to fall prey to their propaganda. I'm proud of you. Dangerous Freedom, you got a good governor there. But you know, we can't forget what happened last week up in Portland, Oregon. We got to talk a little bit about that. So I'm going to give you a little bit of an update about what happened. So far, since the attacks on several people, including a gay Republican conservative reporter who happened to be Asian, they also attacked an old man. And someone came to his aid, and he was very quickly cracked over the head with a steel baton, and it took 25 staples to close the wound. People, Antifa is the scourge of our society, and they are nothing but Democrat-led activists. That's all there is to it. They're getting braver. You know, used to, they'd come up there and they'd spray a little pepper spray and run. Well, now they're starting to drag people in. They're starting to hurt people. How long are we as patriots going to stand by? How long are we going to let these people beat old men over the head with batons? How long are we going to let them pepper spray these old people? People, these are individuals that just get in the wrong place at the wrong time, and Antifa just beats the holy hell out of them. People, it's time that we stood up and we stopped this stuff. You know, they're nothing but punks and thugs paid by the demon rats like Soros. And you know, they get paid more money if they go to jail. And if they get on TV, they get more money. You see, it's the demon rats that are paying these people. They're not doing this for free. They don't care about this country. They're Antifa. They say they're anti-fascist when they're fascist to the core. They are just like Nazi Germany. Exactly. They have no tolerance for anyone. The authorities said they arrested 3 people. But you know, there were 3 other people who were hospitalized due to their injuries. The authorities have said that there's a large number of Antifa protesters in the hate-filled crowd, and they concealed weapons, including batons, bats, crowbars, projectiles, and firearms, as well as pepper spray and bear repellent, which was used against the citizens and the visitors of Portland. Here's an example, people. Alex Kelly sustained a concussion, and 25 staples were needed to close a gaping head wound after being beaten repeatedly with metal batons. So how long are we going to let our patriots be beaten over the head with batons and one man stand against many? When is it going to come the time? I don't know, because the police want to keep us barricaded away. And it's only those few poor, pitiful people that happen to wind up behind the DMZ. they wind up behind the lines and they get beaten by Antifa. People, it's time we started cracking some heads. I don't know how we're going to do it. We've been trying to crack heads politically and it hasn't seemed to work. But I know there's enough pissed off patriots out there that when time comes, they're going to say enough's enough. And Antifa and all these other organizations that push socialism and fascism, they're going to fall. And they're going to fall hard. But I don't know when that time's coming. But I am standing true on the promise that I have from Dangerous Freedom that our patriots are standing ready and willing when the time comes. You know, the Do Nothing Police Bureau in Portland said it's still investigating these horrific assaults and is now asking the public for more information. You know, if those policemen had have been there on the front lines with Antifa there in Portland last weekend, they wouldn't have needed the public to come forward with information that they need. But they went blocks away. They hid themselves away from the Antifa crowd. They allowed the Antifa crowd to go crazy and beat several people bloody. And then when they were beaten, like the news journalist that was beaten, his last name is NGO, I don't know how to pronounce it, but he was the Asian homosexual conservative Republican that was beaten. When he did get his way back to the police, they said, well, if you want an ambulance, you're going to have to walk to the police station. Well, it just so happened he had just got beaten in front of the police station. Come on, people. For him to get back to the police station to get an ambulance for an emergency, he had to walk right back through the crowd that just beat the hell out of him. Now, what kind of sense does that make? What are the police doing? I guarantee you there was a stand-down order. There was a stand-down order and they stood by it. And I'm going to tell you, any policeman that will stand by and watch an American citizen be beaten like that and do absolutely nothing to render them medical aid or to get them medical aid need to be fired. It's plain and simple. If you're going to follow, when I was in the military, we had what you call a lawful order. If someone gave you an order that was not lawful, that went across the Constitution and everything that you said an oath to when you joined the military, you didn't follow through with that order. You went to the person above that and made sure that order was real. People, these cops were given the order to stand down, and they did exactly that. In my opinion, they're cowards. They don't have a pair, and they need to be made street walkers. That's all they are. They're nothing more than public whores. To stand down when you're having American citizens beaten on the streets of Portland. Because you got a demon-rat mayor up there who says, I didn't give a stand-down order. Well, I'm going to tell you something, Mr. Mayor, you're a damn liar. I don't believe in my heart of hearts that a policeman who has dedicated his life to protecting and serving the community would turn his back on an injured man if he didn't have an order to do so. He was probably in fear for his damn job. People, this shit makes me sick. But you know, there's something I can always smile about, and that's our Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She's about as big a buffoon as Biden is. She just don't know it yet. But you know, AOC claimed Wednesday that President Trump's Make America Great Again slogan is hurting child migrants, so they don't want to come to the United States anymore. Well, first of all, I don't understand why Make America Great Again would be hurting children so they don't want to come here. I think if you were saying make America great again, they'd want to come here that much more. AOC. See, there you go. Their thinking is all screwed up. You know, the GOP's grand plan to make America great again is to hurt children, she said. Immigrants and refugees. So they will think America is not so great. Evidently, she's been listening to Cuomo about how America was never that great. So you see where she stands? She's out there with Cuomo somewhere, way out yonder in left field. You know, she said it's cruel and humane to scare those people. Can you believe that? Just because they're wanting to come to America. The GOP will fail on immigration issue because America isn't America without its immigrants, she said. To turn the illegal aliens away is un-American. So what she's wanting to do is she wants to open these borders, people. That's all she's got going for her. She's got that old story, open the borders. You know, AOC proposes that Congress should decriminalize illegal border crossings. And all that is, it's tantamount, people. It's tantamount to declaring publicly that our border on the south is open. And you can cross at will. But we are not going to leave that border open no matter what Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has to say. Such an idea is unworkable. It's unwise. And it doesn't have the supports of Americans. And believe it or not, people, it doesn't have the support of our Democratic Congress. This AOC is going against the old guard Democrats. And the old guard Democrats are getting a little bit teed off at her and her cohorts. Rashida Tlaib from Michigan and Ilhan Omar from Minnesota. They're getting a little tired of these young freshman congressmen. But you know, this issue came back into the spotlight this week when AOC claimed that the migrants in detention centers are forced to drink from toilets. Everyone, Democrats and Republicans, pushed back on her and called her a liar. It never happened, people. Our Border Patrol agents have never made children and women drink from a toilet. She made this up, plain and simple. She's a liar at her very core. President Trump said our Border Patrol are not hospital workers. And that's true. They're not. They're not there to cater to these immigrants, to their every little whim and every little stubbed toe. They're not doctors or nurses. They can't diagnose. They can't give a prognosis. They can't prescribe anything. But the Dems' bad immigration laws can easily be fixed. You know, the problem is we need to fix those problems that the Democrats have put in front of us when it comes to our Border Patrol and let them do their job. Because I guarantee you, if we ever turn the Border Patrol loose and let them do their job, they will go above and beyond the call of duty to secure that southern border. I believe in my heart they're patriotic Americans. But since I'm on this AOC topic right now, I'm going to keep on it for a minute. I want you to get this. I love it. I absolutely love it when demons don't play right. And right now, the old guard, Pelosi and a lot of her old guard Democrats are having a rough time with these young freshman congresswomen. Here's what Nancy Pelosi had to say. Nancy Pelosi criticized AOC and her other far-left freshman congresswomen for voting against, get this people, Pelosi got mad at them for voting against a $4.6 billion bill that President Trump is going to sign into law tomorrow. So now we got Pelosi supporting a bill that Trump's going to sign into law. Pelosi and the other old Dems are moving a little bit to the moderate side of the party. I think they're doing it in hopes of slamming the progressive wing of the party, and not supporting humanitarian assistance measures was a slap in the face to the old guard. This was a bipartisan deal. This was $4.6 billion, and every demon rat sided with the Republicans on this except for these freshman congressmen who wanted to make a name for themselves. You know, Pelosi slammed them again, and here's what she said about them. All of these people and their public whatever and their Twitter world that they live in, but they don't have any following from any Congress, and they are 4 people, and they got 4 votes. So people, even the Democrats are saying that these far left-wing socialist, fascist, Muslim demon rats that want to destroy America are having a problem with their own party. But you know, when you despise American values and you find the American people deplorable and contemptible, lying is just perfectly natural to AOC. That's the only way she can attack us, is with lies. She has no ammunition whatsoever in her arsenal. People like AOC, they create the disasters, and then they refuse to fix it. And then they vote against funding to help people on the border, and then go down there and attack the Border Patrol. They refuse funding to these people on the border to the tune of $4.6 billion, and then they go to the border and they attack the Border Patrol. People, everything out of AOC's mouth is a fabricated lie. She's vicious, she's mean, and she's full of contempt, and they're struggling to get a foothold in the Democratic Party, and they're having a hard time right now. I want to know, how many migrant women and children did AOC help by voting against that $4.6 billion? How many people did she help? Not a single one. What they're doing is trying to stand on their moral high horse, and they want to sling arrows at everybody else, and they offer no solutions. You know, the Dems fought tooth and nail against this $4.6 billion, but only these 4 stood against it in the end. These 4 socialist demon rats. The current situation on the southern border, it represents a worsening crisis because this $4.6 billion was denied. It didn't go through, people. The money didn't show up. So now the Border Patrol is having to deal with what they have. And the Dems withholding the funding on this crisis, they're to blame. Department of Homeland Security and Trump are being blamed for the whole problem. And the whole time, it's these demon rats withholding the funding that would help humanitarian causes on the border. But you know, AOC had to reply to Pelosi after she made that little comment. And here's what AOC had to say. That public whatever is called public sentiment and wielding the power to shift it. Now, people get that. Wielding the power to shift it is how we actually achieve meaningful change in this country. So now, wielding power, when I think of that, I think of the Knights of the Round Table. How about you, Spirit Talker? Wielding. You're going to wield a sword. You're going to be cutting off heads. You're going to be cutting people's guts out. Sounds like a fantasy to me too, Spirit Talker. It's a fantasy. This woman is talking about wielding power. She has no power. She has a big mouth, and she knows how to lie. And she's good at that. I'll tell you what, I would love just for a 30-second interview with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Maybe when I go to D.C., maybe I can get her pissed off enough to reply to me. But you know, I don't believe that it was a good idea for Dems to blindly trump the Trump administration, she said, when so many kids have died. Did you hear that? AOC is saying that a whole bunch of kids have died on the southern border. I don't know. Granted, there probably are a few deaths on the southern border when you have tens and tens of thousands of people gathered in one place. Yeah, maybe, people do die. I don't know. But here she is saying that Trump is killing these kids. The blood is on his hands. They died in his custody. People, she's making a huge mistake doing that. Because Republicans and the older Dems aren't going to stand for it. They've already criticized her and the other freshman congressmen for being hypocrites, for opposing a border bill which was designed to address many of the problems that these far-left demon rats had been complaining about for weeks. All they had to do was to vote yes, and everything they've complained about for the last 6 weeks would have been fixed. But no, they stopped it to show that they have power. But they don't have power, not if we take it away from them. People like AOC create disasters. They refuse to fix it, and they vote against humanitarian aid. She's vicious, she's dishonest, she's a hypocrite, she's a socialist, and she wants socialism in America. We will never, patriotic Americans, Trump-loving Republicans, we're not going to ever allow that to happen. But you know, you got this creepy Uncle pedophile Joe Biden, who happens to be the front runner. And you know, that tells you pretty much what the demon rats are all about. When you've got a creepy Uncle Joe pedophile Biden in first place in the Democratic race for the nomination. You know, when a pedophile can be the front runner for the Democrat Party, you know that it is truly the party of the demon rats. You know, Joe Biden never did anything in his life. He was a senator. He got a whole lot of pity and sympathy when his family died, and I hated that for him. That was a sad time. I think at the time I even bowed my head for him. But I'm going to tell you, this creepy Uncle Joe pedophile Biden is in big trouble. He's in trouble with his supporters after he admitted that he wasn't prepared for Kamala I slept my way to the top Harris attacks the other night at the debates. He said that the last week when she attacked him, he was just unprepared for it. He couldn't believe that she went there. Well, people, that was the first debate. We got just a little bit of stink. People, I'm praying for a whole lot more as they debate in the future. I don't think Kamala Harris is going to sit back. I think she's going to try her best to become a front runner, which will fail. But I'll tell you, creepy Uncle Joe Biden's on his heels right now. And all it took was for her to accuse him of one thing or attack him on one issue, and he started back on his heels. He started backing up and started playing defense. So as long as he's playing defense, and you know Elizabeth Warren's going to be a defense player, she's going to try to come to the cream of the crop. But right now we got Cory Booker going on all these TV shows, and he's doing all this screaming and hollering and shouting and what he's going to be doing. I walked by a TV the other day, and he was on there, and he was pointing his finger, and he was screaming, and he was telling all this what he's going to do. Well, good. Just keep it up there, Cory. Meet me in the bathroom, Booker. Everybody knows you're a faggot. But you know, Biden said after the debate that he was prepared for them to come after me. But for some reason, I just wasn't prepared for them to come after me the way that Kamala Harris did. People, do you hear that? Creepy Uncle Pedophile Joe Biden saying he was prepared for this debate, but yet he wasn't prepared for the way they attacked him. They thought they were going. He thought they were going to come over the top and do some kind of little petty kissy thing, you know, and bash Trump. Well, he got his number called and he didn't know how to handle it. He said it's so easy to go back 30, 40, or 50 years and take content and then take it completely out of context. Creepy Uncle Pedophile Joe Biden, that's what you've done your whole career. You can't blame them for doing what you do. You can't blame them for using your playbook, my friend. You know, I have all kinds of information about other peoples and their past and what they've done. This is Uncle Joe Biden talking. He says, I've got all kinds of information on their past and things they've done they don't want to get out. But I'm just not going to go there, he said. We should be debating what we do from here and not be slinging dirt. Well, the reason is, people, there's nothing worse than being a pedophile. All it takes is for one of those people to bring out his pedophile past, and he's done for. And I wouldn't put that past Cory Booker. I wouldn't put that past Kamala Harris, Castro, or any of the others. Because as time winds down, Biden is going to be stepping back. And so is Warren. And it's going to be these young guns. Cory, meet me in the bathroom, Booker. Kamala, I slept my way to the top, Harris. And this idiot Julian Castro that doesn't know what a flag is, especially a Confederate flag. But you know, Biden, I got to say this word right, people. He reiterated that he was prepared to be targeted by any and all in the debate and on the debate stage. But he wasn't prepared. He said this again. This is 3 times he said he was not prepared for the attack by Kamala Harris. See, she's not playing by the rules, people. That's what I want to see. I want to see this infighting. Biden's on his heels. Joe Biden is the biggest threat in America to Joe Biden. He is his own worst enemy. His poor performance in the debate and his terrible performance on the campaign trail, his lame defense of his 40 years in public office, and it's already causing him problems because, people, he had 8 years with Obama and he helped cause these problems that we have today. He's part of the problem. He's not going to be back in the White House, people. Biden was a terrible candidate the first time. He was a worse candidate the second time. He's going to be a worse candidate the third time running for president of the United States. There's no reason in the world to expect that he will improve his failed record. He's a failed presidential candidate, just like Hillary Rotten Clinton. He's no better than her. If he were to be elected, he would be Obama's puppet, just like Hillary would have been. But thank God for President Trump. Thank God for Americans coming forward and standing up and believing in something other than what we've heard all our lives and putting our trust in one man. And people, he ain't perfect. I know he's not. But he tries. I truly believe he has America's interest at heart. So we need to support him. You know, I got to finish this up. Biden said the only way to beat Trump is by being a moderate demon rat. So that's what I was wanting to talk about. You got Pelosi, you got Biden. They're all talking about going to the center, being moderates. They're trying to be moderate so they maybe can get some Trump supporters who, maybe even some demon rats that walked away. There's a lot of demon rats that have walked away from the party. They're either independent or Republican now. Maybe they're trying to pander to them to get them to come back. But I don't think it's going to work. I mean, even with Pelosi and the old guard going moderate on us with Biden as their cheerleader, we've got people like Kamala Harris and AOC in Congress that are going to do everything in the world to throw roadblocks and stumble blocks in front of these people. And so far, Biden's on his heels. Next comes Warren. And then it's going to be a free-for-all. Get rid of the two front runners, and I promise you it's going to be a free-for-all, because right now Kamala Harris is in third. The day after the debates, she got $1 million in 24 hours donated to her. You know, when AOC visits to the border, I'm going to get off of her in a minute, and she made those totally dishonest comments. Her comments were extremely vicious, and they were cruel. And it proved that she's a demon. I want to reiterate one more time. I don't believe for a minute that our Border Patrol agents are making children and women drink out of toilets. I don't believe they drink toilet water for 1 minute. But you know, it doesn't matter if you're white or black. If you're a Democrat, you need to be asking yourselves a few questions. You need to be asking yourself questions. Is this party more concerned about transgender issues? Banning plastic straws? And promoting tax-funded health care for illegal aliens? So if you're white or black, why would you vote for this? Who wants to be worried about the transgenders? I'm not. I say do what you've always done. You've always got by. Banning plastic straws, people, come on. This is what we've lowered ourselves to today in our society. And promoting tax-funded health care for illegal aliens. Well, the majority of women in this country believe, and I believe they believe this in a reasonable limit, they believe in abortion, and they believe that some abortions are necessary. Many believe that abortion is wrong. But the Democrats are hell-bent on expanding late-term abortions across the country. You know what happened in New York City? Abortion up until and during the time of birth. People, that's murder. I tell you what, you run over that woman in a crosswalk when she's pregnant the day before, and you kill her baby, you're going to get charged with murder. And if you kill her, you're going to get charged with 2 murders. But yet, 24 hours later, this same woman, who wasn't hit by a car, can go and have her baby that is crowning, showing its little head, can be murdered. And it's praised by the Democrats. How can this be? People, I've got a whole lot more for tonight, but I have went longer than I thought I would. I was hoping that I could give a little insight to some of the things I was talking about. But I've got another 5 or 6 pages, but I just don't have time. People, I wanted to go my full hour. I've been trying my best to get better at these live streams. I've got a little work to do so I can get my my text, my comments up there where I can see them. It's been a little hard. I can't look away and have a spirit talker give me sign language because I don't understand sign language. So he kept giving me thumbs up, and thumbs up gave me the thought that things are going good. So I hope so. I hate it that I can't respond to you, but it's I got 5 minutes left, and I just wanted you to know that I've been working hard lately to get subscribers. But you know, the subscriber count doesn't really matter. Oh, now I can see the time. He gave me my laptop, so now I can talk to you. Okay. Dangerous Freedom, thank you for the common sense, man. That means a lot. And Disabled Vets Perspective, how are you? Tony Patriot, thank you. I appreciate your comment, man. It is so true. And Cassie Stroh said, hello, Jervis. So, Jervis, how are you doing? Tony Patriot said, Bobby, you're doing great. Tony, I appreciate you so much. And then we've got DM. Always DM. The great mod. Yeah, she's the best. Ashley's right in there behind her. Ashley works hard. But DM, she holds the queen's crown. She is something special. We got Happy Vlogs. Glad you're here. Craven Caspian. Glad you're here. These are all people that I've joined lately. Let's see. Cassie Stroh. Thank you so much for being here, Cassie. I loved your stream today. I think I sent you a PayPal. But yeah, it's so good to see you here. I was hoping that I could get some of my regulars in here. And maybe some of these people who I've been networking with over the past couple of weeks. It's good to see you. And Jervis, I want to tell you, my buddy, always thank you. You are a great friend. And I have to mention one more time, I haven't seen her in here, but I told her I'd give her a shout out. And that's Debbie C. Debbie, letter C. I just want you to know, I appreciate you. You've helped me grow. And I thank you very much. So I'm still doing pretty good. Steak 59, glad to see you here. Cassie Stroh, hey, I'm so glad to see you once again. I'm going to let y'all go. I'm going to get out of here, but I'm going to tell you what, people. I'm very happy. I'm so glad that y'all showed up. I wished I'd have got this chat sooner. And yes, you're right, Ashley. DM is a great mod, and I have great respect for her, as we all should. And so I'll tell you what, people. I'm going to back out of here. I'm going to say good night. I want you to know that I love each and every one of you. I'm grateful for you joining me. And if you can't watch it right now, if you catch me on the replay, leave me a comment. Hit the like button. Hit the bell icon so next time you see me, you'll be notified. People, I love you. I'm Deplorable Bobby. This is the way I see it, except I don't say that much anymore. And remember our children. Pray for our exploited and the trafficked and the abused. Pray for our children, the unborn. Pray for each other. Stay strong in the faith. I'll see you next time.